There are moments in life when everything becomes strangely silent, even though the world around you keeps moving. That silence is not emptiness, it is sacred. It is the moment when God begins to speak directly to your spirit, not through thunder or visions, but through a deep knowing in your heart that says, "You were made for more." Many chosen ones first feel this calling when they are alone, tired, or broken. That's when the ego quiets and the soul finally hears the truth. You might have felt it late at night when tears rolled down your face for reasons you couldn't explain, or in the middle of a crowded room where you suddenly felt disconnected from everyone. Those moments weren't random. They were divine invitations. God doesn't call people when they're comfortable. He calls them when they're awake. And if you're watching this on Mirror of the Soul, it's not an accident that you're here right now. Throughout history, every great spiritual messenger heard the call before they ever understood it. Moses was hiding in the desert. David was tending sheep. Even modern spiritual leaders often describe a season of isolation before their awakening. You may not realize it yet, but your struggles have been shaping your spiritual hearing. Hardship sharpens awareness. Pain deepens intuition. That's how God prepares his messengers. This is why your life has never felt ordinary. You've always felt like you didn't quite belong, like your soul came from somewhere deeper than this world. That's not imagination. That's memory. You are remembering who you are. And the fact that you're drawn to messages like this means the awakening has already begun. If this resonates, don't forget to like this video. It helps this message reach more chosen ones who need it. So let me ask you something powerful. When was the first time you felt different from everyone else? When did you realize your heart carried something heavier, something deeper? Share that in the comments. Your story might awaken someone else who's been feeling alone on this path. God does not need hands, but he uses them. God does not need a voice, but he chooses one. The divine could move mountains with a thought, yet time and time again he works through people. Why? Because love must be experienced, not just declared, and humans are the bridge between heaven and earth. Every miracle you've ever heard about had a human in the middle of it. A prophet spoke, a healer touched, a believer prayed. Even when Jesus walked the earth, he relied on disciples to spread the truth. God has always partnered with humanity, and now, in this chaotic modern world, he needs a new generation of spiritually awake people to bring light into the darkness. Look around. People are more anxious, depressed, and disconnected than ever. Technology is advanced, but souls are starving. That's why chosen ones are awakening right now in huge numbers. You are not here to escape the world, you are here to heal it. That's why God can't do this alone. He needs your courage, your compassion, your voice. One of the hardest truths for a chosen one to accept is that their pain had a purpose. You didn't suffer because you were weak. You suffered because you were strong enough to survive it. God never gives the deepest battles to the weakest souls. He gives them to the ones who can carry the wisdom that comes afterward. Think about it. The people who change the world are rarely the ones who had easy lives. They are the ones who were misunderstood, abandoned, betrayed, or broken. Your wounds became windows into the human heart. That's why you can feel what others feel. That's why you sense energy, emotions, and hidden truths. You were trained through pain to become a healer. Science even confirms this. Trauma reshapes the brain, increasing empathy, emotional intelligence, and spiritual sensitivity in those who heal from it. Your nervous system learned to read the room, to sense danger, to feel subtle shifts. What once kept you safe now makes you spiritually powerful. From a young age, you probably noticed that you didn't think like everyone else. You questioned things. You felt deeper. You sensed energy before you understood words. You weren't interested in shallow conversations or empty goals. That wasn't social awkwardness. That was spiritual depth. Chosen ones are born with a different frequency. You see through illusions. You feel when something isn't right. You crave truth even when it hurts. That's why fitting into society always felt unnatural. This world is built on distraction, ego, and fear, but your soul was built for meaning. Many spiritual traditions say that awakened souls reincarnate into difficult environments to help raise consciousness. That's why you were placed in situations that felt unfair or overwhelming. Your soul volunteered for this mission long before your mind remembered it. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out as a light, and that light may have made others uncomfortable. That's why you faced rejection or misunderstanding. But what makes you different is what makes you divine. We are living in one of the most spiritually intense times in human history. Depression, anxiety, and loneliness are at record highs. People have more information than ever, yet less wisdom. More communication, yet less connection. This is not just a mental health crisis, it's a spiritual one. When societies lose their connection to meaning, everything begins to collapse. That's why people feel empty even when they succeed. That's why relationships feel shallow. The soul is starving, and God is calling the chosen ones to feed it with truth, compassion, and awareness. You don't have to preach to make a difference. Your energy alone changes the room. Your presence calms others. Your words heal. When you live from your authentic self, you give others permission to do the same. That's why you're waking up now. Not later, not someday. Now, the world needs your frequency. Chosen ones don't fully belong to this world because they are here to connect it to something higher. You are a bridge between fear and love, between ego and soul, between darkness and light. That's a heavy role, but you were built for it. You may have noticed that people open up to you easily. Strangers tell you their stories. Friends come to you when they're breaking. That's not coincidence, it's spiritual gravity. Your soul emits safety. You don't have to know everything. You just have to be present. God works through your listening, your kindness, your authenticity. The reason you're seeing messages like this everywhere is because your activation has begun. You're not just waking up, you're being prepared. God is aligning you with people, experiences, and truths that will push you into your purpose. You may feel restless, dissatisfied, called to something greater. That's because the old version of you is dissolving. A new version is being born. Don't ignore the call, lean into it. You were chosen for this moment. If you're ready, comment, "I accept my calling" below. And make sure you're subscribed to Mirror of the Soul. This journey is just beginning. The moment you begin stepping into your true self, resistance shows up. People start doubting you. Situations become heavier. Old wounds resurface. This isn't punishment, it's confirmation. When you move closer to your divine purpose, everything that no longer aligns with your light is forced to reveal itself. Think about it like this. When you walk into a dark room and turn on a lamp, the dust becomes visible. The room was always dusty, but only the light made it obvious. Your spiritual awakening works the same way. Your energy exposes lies, insecurities, and hidden agendas in others. That's why not everyone will celebrate your growth. Even psychology confirms this. When someone elevates their self-worth, it triggers insecurity in people who are still stuck in old patterns. That's why some will try to pull you back down, gossip about you, or misunderstand your intentions. They aren't evil, they are afraid of their own unhealed wounds. But God never removes resistance from chosen ones, He strengthens them through it. Resistance is weight, and weight builds spiritual muscle. Every time you survive criticism, rejection, or betrayal, you grow more grounded in who you truly are. Chosen ones always attract enemies, not because they are aggressive, but because they are authentic. Your truth makes people uncomfortable. Your peace irritates those who live in chaos. Your clarity exposes confusion. You never had to compete just by being yourself. You challenged the illusions others were living in. And some people would rather fight the light than face their own shadows. That's why jealousy, gossip, and betrayal have followed you at times. Spiritual traditions across the world talk about this. When someone carries divine light, darkness becomes aware. Not in a dramatic movie sense, but in human behavior. People project, they judge, they sabotage. But here, the secret. Enemies are spiritual mirrors. They show you where you've outgrown your environment. When people begin to oppose you, it's often because you no longer belong in their limited world. Even when life feels chaotic, divine protection is always working behind the scenes. There are doors that didn't open for you because they would have destroyed you. There were relationships that ended because they were draining your destiny. There were delays that saved you from disasters you'll never know about. Sometimes protection looks like loss. Sometimes it looks like disappointment. But God sees the full timeline, you only see the moment. That's why trust is the highest form of faith. Many people can look back at their lives and realize that what felt like failure was actually redirection. That job you didn't get, that person who left, that plan that collapsed, all of it was making room for something better aligned with your soul. Before you were born, your soul made an agreement. You didn't come here randomly. You chose a life that would awaken you. You chose challenges that would strengthen you. You chose a path that would lead you back to God through experience. That's why you always felt different. That's why you questioned reality. That's why you were drawn to spirituality, even when no one else around you was. You were remembering a mission you accepted long ago. Your soul wanted to help heal this world not by being perfect, but by being real. Your struggles made you compassionate. Your pain made you wise. Your awakening made you powerful. If this resonates, comment, "I remember." And make sure you are subscribed to Mirror of the Soul so you stay connected to this higher truth. Many chosen ones feel like they wasted years in confusion. But there is no such thing as being late in divine timing. Everything happened exactly when it needed to so that you would be ready now. You couldn't have awakened earlier. You didn't yet have the strength, the wisdom, or the emotional depth. Now you do. That's why the call is getting louder. God does not rush souls. He ripens them. And you have ripened through everything you survived. If you've ever felt behind in life, know this. Spiritually, you are ahead. Like this video if you're ready to step into your true season. You don't need a stage to make an impact. Your presence alone heals. Your kindness shifts timelines. Your words open hearts. Every time you choose love over fear, you raise the vibration of this planet. You may never know how many people you've helped just by being yourself, but God knows, and that's enough. This is why your life matters. This is why God needs you, not to be famous but to be real. Share this video if it touched your heart. Someone out there is waiting for this message. Everything you're going through right now is training. The confusion, the solitude, the deep thinking, the emotional purging. You are being reshaped for something greater than you can imagine. Your old identity is falling away because it can't carry the power you're about to step into. Trust the process. Trust the discomfort. Trust the becoming. If you feel this shift inside you, comment, "I'm ready." And stay connected to Mirror of the Soul. The final part will reveal your true role in God's plan. You were not sent here to simply survive, pay bills, and disappear. You were sent here to shift consciousness. That may sound big, but it begins in simple ways: how you speak, how you love, how you treat people when no one is watching. Some chosen ones are healers. Some are teachers. Some are quiet lights in dark places. But all carry one mission: to bring truth where there is confusion and love where there is fear. Your divine assignment won't always look spiritual. It might be helping someone through grief, standing up for someone who has no voice, choosing honesty when lying is easier. These are spiritual acts in human form. God works through alignment, not perfection. When your actions match your soul, miracles happen through you. If you feel a deep calling inside that you can't ignore, comment, "I accept my assignment." And don't forget to subscribe to Mirror of the Soul. This channel is here to guide you on this path. You didn't lose people, situations, or old versions of yourself because you were failing. You lost them because you were outgrowing them. God cannot build your new life on an old foundation. Every door that closed was making room for something aligned with your purpose. Every goodbye was removing what couldn't follow you into your next level. In nature, a snake must shed its skin to grow. If it doesn't, it dies. You've been shedding. It was painful, it was lonely, but it was necessary. If you've lost people and feel misunderstood, know this. You didn't lose your tribe, you outgrew it. Like this video if you're ready for what's next. You might think you're just one person, but one awakened soul changes everything. Your words carry frequency. Your truth creates ripples in the unseen. Even a single sentence spoken with love can shift someone's life forever. That's why God needs you, not loud, not famous, but real. That's also why you're drawn to sharing, writing, teaching, or helping others in some way. It's not a hobby, it's a calling. You survived what was meant to break you. That alone proves you are chosen. The storms didn't destroy you, they revealed you. Every setback built your spiritual backbone. Every betrayal sharpened your intuition. Every dark night strengthened your connection to God. You are not fragile, you are forged. If you're still standing after everything you've been through, drop a fire in the comments and let the world know you're still here. This message reached you at exactly the right moment. That's not coincidence, that's alignment. God is speaking through your awareness, your curiosity, your hunger for truth. You are being activated even as you watch this. The more you listen to your intuition, the louder the divine becomes. The more you trust yourself, the more God works through you. Stay connected to Mirror of the Soul. This channel exists to help chosen ones remember who they are. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be willing. God isn't asking you to be a hero. He's asking you to be you, fully, honestly, courageously. Your light matters, your story matters, your presence in this world matters. So here's the final question. Are you ready to stop shrinking and start becoming who you were always meant to be? Comment, I choose my destiny. Like this video. Subscribe to Mirror of the Soul. And walk forward knowing this. God isn't waiting for someone else. He's waiting for you.